Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to replace a throttle body on a 2017 Ford Fiesta. We had a check engine light come on and took it to our mechanic, and he just cleaned out the throttle body. He said that he thought that might take care of it, but if it did not, then he recommended replacing the throttle body itself. And I looked into it. It looks like it's pretty simple, so we're gonna knock it out. He's a busy guy, and I think I can do this faster and cheaper myself. This is about 50 bucks on Amazon, and the throttle body itself, the old one, is right here. Let's see, right, that guy there, and all that's holding it on, you've got, so it goes this direction. You've got 4 bolts that hold it on to the housing there, and then this, whatever this is called, this hose going there. So it looks like the only tools we'll need are a T30 to take those bolts off, flathead screwdriver to take these clamps off, a 10mm socket to take the negative battery cable off, and yeah, so let's go ahead and do it. See how long it takes. I'm not sure what the mechanic would have charged for it, but he charged me $140 to clean it, which I was fine with that because it got it running again. But I imagine it would be that plus the fee for the part to change the part. So let's go ahead and take this cable off, and we're actually going to wrap that cable with a towel so it doesn't touch anything metal. And then got a screwdriver here. We're going to take this clamp off, or just loosen it, and loosen this one. Actually, this one's already loose down here. I wonder if that's why I'm still having problems. It's not very tight, so who knows. This pipe comes, this hose comes off here, and then should be able to just, yeah, there we go. Just wiggle that off. Yeah, there we go. So that's pretty easy. Set that aside for now. Here's our throttle body. And let's go ahead and take these 4 bolts off. But first though, maybe I'll disconnect this electrical cable. Looks like you just slide that clip off. Don't know if it's supposed to come all the way off like that or not, but it did. Okay, that just pops right off. So there's that cable. And now let's take off these bolts. By the way, if you ever need weird tools like torque spits like this, I picked up a whole set for like 10 bucks at Harbor Freight. So you don't have to spend a lot to, you know, get specialty tools. They seem to be fairly long, so I think they'll stay in there without falling out. One more down here. All right. There we go. So there's the old one. Looks pretty dirty still, but who knows? I don't know why it's acting up, but we're going to replace it. And it kind of looks like a carburetor, doesn't it? Except there's no fuel line or anything like that to it. It's got that butterfly looking thing in there, this thing that moves. And I read somewhere, no, I heard in the video that you never want to mess with this thing while it's attached to the electrical connector, because it could clamp your finger, cut your finger off, so that'd be bad. Anyway, so let's take these bolts off. Looks like they're all the same length. This old one to the side. Now there is a gasket. You can kind of see, I think you can see there, that green gasket. Yeah, you can see that. We're just going to leave that there. Let me inspect it. I mean, it looks good to me. Let's make sure it's in there correctly. Looks like it is. So hopefully that's still good. And I may use this towel real quick to just wipe out that throttle. I don't know what it's called, just this little, see if there's any dust in there. That looks okay. All right, let's put the new one on. Now, I've got gloves I'm using just to keep my fingers clean, but for some reason, this one the new one came with gloves, so I don't know if they do that because maybe it's a precaution not to get dust or, fingerprints on the new. So I'm just gonna use these gloves, and maybe that'll help. Maybe it'll help keep it as clean as possible as I put it on there. All right, so here's the new one. Let's compare it to the old just to make sure we know what we're doing. There's the old one. Here's the new one. Yeah, it looks the same to me. How about you guys? What do you think? Yeah, it looks the same to me. So that was the orientation, just like that. Guess it's just a matter of lining up the holes. You probably can't see with my big head in the way here, but I guess we'll go ahead and just put a couple of these. Maybe we'll put these top ones in, and we just line it up with the holes. And you can't see this, but I'm just lining these screws up with the holes. Now, one of the videos I watched said that these screw into plastic. Honestly, I can't really tell though. Anyway, they were just saying be careful not to over tighten. But that's in general, you don't want to over tighten, whether it's plastic or metal. And yeah, I think this is plastic because if you look at the threads on this screw, they're very wide, and that means that they're most likely going into plastic. If it were going into metal, you'd have a fine screw and fine threads instead of coarse. Just making sure that's going in smoothly. You don't want to cross thread it, especially with plastic. Well, I guess really especially with anything. All right, tighten all those, just hand tight, snug. And now before I put the hose on, I want to put this connector back on. Now I didn't lose it, this little plastic piece had come out. Let's see, how was that put under there? Let's see, I think this little lever thing went down, so let's see real quick. Yeah, so just like that, and then there's a little pop that happens when it goes in, and then I push this yellow part into that. Looks nice and clean. Yep, looks good. Let's put the hose back on. Let's see. I think this, yeah, there's our little nozzle that the hose goes on, so that's the right orientation. You can see there's these little indentations in the clamps there that fit. Maybe this top one doesn't have one, but this one has one, so that's kind of useful. So I'm going to slide that on. There, went right on. Slide that on. Pop this guy in. And let's see. Easiest way it seems is just slide a screwdriver right there. You know, I may, instead of using a screwdriver, it looks like about a 7mm socket. Let's see if that works. Let's get us a long. That's too long. Yeah, it's 7mm. That's tight. Nah, it's a lot easier to tighten than trying to do that flathead screwdriver on that one. Here we go. That's snug. Same thing here as we did with the nuts. You don't want to over tighten stuff. There's just no reason to, as long as it's snug. And there's some things that you would use a torque wrench, which I've never actually used, but you torque it to a certain specification. Okay, so that's all done there. I guess we just reconnect the battery and go from there. So let's do that. It's going all the way on there. Let me separate this a little bit. Okay. Okay, I guess that's it. And I'm going to use a 10mm socket. Tighten it up. Okay, so one of the videos I watched said to idle it for 15 minutes, and that should reset all the controllers in that throttle body. Take all my tools off here, and we're going to start it up. Well, that sounds pretty good. I'm gonna let it run for 15 minutes, and then I'm just gonna expect it to run like a charm. If this video helped you, please like it and subscribe to my channel. Thanks.